I could talk about a lot of aspects right now, the details, what's going on, but I'm a freestyle instead and see, how I could be supportive to the obvious forces at work. There's a few things we're supposed to be concentrating on and putting intention behind. Collectively, as we all know, a crisis is ahead that's going to test our faith, our compassion, our empathy, and especially our ability to generate a sense of humility in the spirit. And who would know that food stamps could be part of how this gets realized? We're the people. We are. There's a lot of differences in the atmosphere between us as people, and it's supposed to be there. It's supposed to. The duality is presented, Gemini and Pisces, that gives us an opportunity to exercise our higher faculties, to arrive at understandings through these differences. We can't get there unless we clear our conscience, release guilt, and get involved with subject matters that may not be very comfortable to discuss, open up, and unpack. Without emphasizing that, humiliation is visiting Americans. It doesn't mean that the humiliation is warranted. It doesn't mean that we should feel humiliated. But most are not going to be able to avoid that feeling because duality is a limitation and perception. Not everyone's going to be able to immediately rise to wisdom or the frequencies of love to decode the mysteries of what's manifesting as collective experiences in what seems to be suffering, lack, loss, deprivation, threat of status. It can challenge our perception and interpretation. Collectively, why is humiliation visiting us in the forms of losses? Many Americans are silently suffering. I'm just a messenger who speaks very loudly. I could be advocating in a sense for those, but hopefully I'm encouraging some reflection. How does it benefit us for humiliation to visit us? Let me remind, South Node Virgo, number 9. It's all about this. If you have a heart soul urge number 9 or life path number 9, you know everything about losing things, losing people, losing status, losing property, losing opportunities, losing money, losing strength, losing health. You are the king or queen of losses, and you suffer losses over and over and over again. Losses. that humiliation, it teaches us something. Among the many things that it can teach us is how to offer ourselves humility. Humility is the first step to being a student of anything or anyone, any event, any experience. Humility is what makes the student. Not the pencil and the paper. Not the notes. Not the recordings. It's futile without humility. Without humility, you cannot absorb meaning. You cannot detach from the density of the body to rise to the bird's eye view of spirit. The density of the body perceives dualities in this plane. To get to wisdom and love, we have to detach from density. And this could include an ego death, humility. It lets us fly high enough to see meaning and deep enough to recover truth. A loss to the flesh is a gain for the spirit. And I'll say again, a loss to the flesh is a gain to the spirit. We're recovering faculties, forces, powers, that tends to fall away from us the more that we acknowledge, emphasize, pour into, invest in, gravitate toward the dense flesh. How forgetful we become. How easily distracted we are. It happens to the best of us. How many Americans right now, or in your country, wherever that may be, you can relate? There are many who cry at night, wringing their hands, can't sleep. How am I going to pay this upcoming bill? I'm 3 months behind. Eviction notice. Car repossession any day now. I'm trying to hide my car. I work and work and work, but I don't have enough to keep up with the demands of payments owed, debts owed, layoffs. It was all good just a week ago, a month ago, a year ago. Now, the status that came with that career, the dignity that came with a sense of independence, the confidence that came with a checking account that at least covered my daily needs, my monthly bills. Things are changing, and it's changing fast. My identity is spinning up and up and up and down and down and down. It's twirling all over the place. I can't make sense of it. Where are all the different places that we put our confidence? Where are all of the places where we tacked our name on something and said, this is who I am? That's who I am. A name tag, a job title, the pride that we take in being the one who gives and not the one who receives. The things that jobs, careers, finances affords us. A vehicle that's comfortable, fully functional. A home. Looking at our children knowing that they're secure. A dating life. Entertain yourself. Feed yourself, clothe yourself. All of these things are questionable for average people. Many are hiding what they're going through. They're hiding it. Nobody wants you to look at them during the times of their downfall. Nobody wants you to see them when they fell from grace. They don't want you to see their face that they've been crying, sleepless, bags under their eyes, praying and giving up on even believing that there could even be a God. Creativity pushed to the max. How am I going to overcome this? What am I going to do? This is the reality for common people. And it's humiliating. It's demoralizing. A powerful initiation is taking place. And where it's headed at is a shift, a transfer that has us to question, where is my actual value? Who am I really? Everything that I thought was a reason to get up in the morning, to be alive, to find a celebratory spirit, reason to be thankful, reason to celebrate, reason to smile. How quickly it's all falling away. I'm here to tell you that it's a transfer of such value. Value is being transferred from material, density, possessions, status, comparison, competition, consumption, superficiality, narcissism, greed. These things are being taken away from us to get to the true value of the self. And collectively, we are recovering the mission of Earth. It's being recovered. This value now goes into the philosophical contemplation. What is eternal? What is everlasting? What endures? What shall not fall? What shall not dissolve? What is consistent? What is unbreakable? What endures? Such descriptions is recovered in Taurus. Such values are understood through Taurus. Taurus has to show us that. Taurus has to explain that. Taurus has to determine that. But the first time Uranus was passing through Taurus, we were unplugging. From what we mislabeled as stability. We got our first shock waves of that disconnect and detachment from illusions of what we named and characterized as stability. Now, with the number 9 bringing earthquake to every illusion of stability in our reality, we now know what stability is not. Which is half accomplishment of coming to the realization of what stability is. That revelation will come through the reflection of Uranus Taurus. The realization of where there is permanence, where we cannot be moved from, what shall endure. These are eternal values that we learn to align with. We learn to finally acknowledge and not run away from. We make room in the self, capacity in the self, because of the blessing of having been purged by the number 9 of those distractions, density, things, consumables, status. With that greater capacity, we do an exchange. We're exchanging earth for heaven, recovering the identity of the self that is heavenly and not earthly. We're losing density. And a loss of that density allows us to transcend higher frequencies in which we exist in earth. Not everyone will select this. It's a new world. Even as I speak, there are many who cannot even comprehend what I'm saying, and that's okay. It's not time yet for you to understand what I'm saying. But for those of you who do understand, it's time for you to relate. It's time for me to relate. It's time for us to relate. We know what's happening. We know why. Humiliation is instructing towards humility. And once we embrace humility, The conflict that we have with the ego that is attached to what the number 9 is deciding to rid out of our circumference. We become teachable. And when we become teachable, every event and experience in life is instructional. It is full of wisdom, pure guidance. The world becomes an oracle. Life becomes a scroll, a heavenly scroll. Every interaction with other persons, it becomes a divine counsel of heaven. Humility makes the difference. And whether or not we are receptive to these heavenly forces and intent, to whether or not we are learning and comprehending what is intended for us to absorb. Humility is the difference. As I'm speaking about humility, our diet, which is also consistent with Virgo, and as you know, Virgo's at the South Node, we're being taught to eat less, to rid ourselves of gluttony. We're being taught to simplify our diet. And eating less and simplifying the diet, which fasting, arguably, could be one of the best practices towards this. Fasting teaches humility because it trains us in how to get out of the way of our own ego. It teaches us how to save ourselves from ourselves. To come out of captivity of our lower desires and impulses. To become a free woman or a free man. To empower oneself. To reinforce one's own personal authority. If we could align with the truth, we will find no need to give resistance to what is naturally manifesting in favor of the spirit, but in detriment to the desires of the flesh. We have to choose between the two masters. We have to be decisive and choose. You're not going to have both. Will you cut off your right arm to save the body? Jesus recommended it. We are cutting off the right arm in order to save the soul. Endure. Compassion rises in this because we all are getting familiar with common pains, common disappointments, setbacks, blockages, regrets, frustrations, and anger. We're all getting familiar with the same pains. Compassion is here. Empathy is here. It's arrived. Through that power, we become unified. Who used to be neighbor is now family. Who used to be friend is now blood. Through humility and through compassion. And this is what was intended. We're getting there. We have to align, submit, and allow it. Receive it. Understand it. And form intention to show up for it. We can't be afraid to look at the truth along the way. It's what sets us free. We don't have a claim of freedom without alignment with truth. It's the truth that shall set you free. What does it mean to align with truth? The very things you don't like to hear that you know you ought to. The things you don't like to consider that you know you ought to. The recovery of where our responsibilities are. The recovery of where accountability should be. The recovery of where our moral commitment ought be. The recovery of duty. Obligation. There's a context with this. Cancer, Jupiter. Oh yes. It does include your demographic. It does include your nationality. It does include your race. Because it includes how we have been treating each other in the earth. It includes the compassion and empathy that we're able to have for neighbors and friends and strangers. It includes initiatives towards healing, the breaking of generational curses and covenants that we inherit from our forefathers, and the traditions of offenses, abuses, mistreatment, oppression, violence, indignation, tyranny, that we carry on without the clarity, humility, and honesty to know that it's our turn to put a stop to any oppression or injustice that has affected the people from our own house. And what is our house? It is your ethnicity, it is your race, it is your demographic. And if your forefathers or foremothers started trends of culture, habits, behaviors that negatively affects other people who walk the earth, that negatively affects the innocent, that causes oppression, pain, injustice, or suffering to the innocent, it's our responsibility to put a stop to it. It is our duty. matter how righteous you think you are, all of us have this assignment. Where in your race, in your demographic, in your community, in your gender, has there been a legacy of oppression and injustice inflicted upon others that you are in position to put a stop to within your capacity? Where is it that you're able to raise awareness against the darkness that comes from your demographic, household, race, or gender? Where is it? Where have your forefathers' sins oppressed the people? Will you pretend like you can't see it? Will you pretend like you don't know it? Will you pretend like it don't affect you? It has nothing to do with you. You're innocent of it. We're not innocent of it until we're proactive in stopping it. We're not cleared of it until we discomfort ourselves, inconvenience ourselves against it. That's when we're innocent of it. When we go out of our way to make sure that what's coming out of our household can do no harm to anyone else. We don't want to know the truth. We don't want to be inconvenienced from our delusions, selfishness, and narcissism. It's somebody else's job, huh? Not yours. It's somebody else's role. Aries Neptune. This is the intention that we're setting. Am I my own ideal? Whose ideal have I been? What ideals of my identity must be dissolved and purified? What is the concept of the self that should be there? What is the proper concept and claim of one's identity and status? Where have I, where have you brought pollution to the identity of self or others? You might say, oh, I haven't done that. That's not what I do. I don't do things like that. I beg to differ. Don't be so fast. Humility, slow it down. We all have been doing it. I call upon the example and demonstration of Cancer Jupiter 4th house. From your household demographic, from your race, from your nationality, from your gender. Where have you represented your sister or your brother in a way that is unfair to him or her or them? Where have you given a poor representation of the people of your house? Where have you unjustly represented the people of your house? Where have you brought shame, ill repute, cause for rebuke, dishonor, oppression and injustice upon the image of those who share your image? It's not just your body. It's not just your face. It's not just your nationality. It's not just your image. It's not just your status. It's not just your gender. When you step out into the public place and you represent yourself in a particular way, you could be unfair to someone who shares the same image as you. Atonement is here. We have to atone. And atonement is work. I have to work for how many black men I misrepresented in my past. I have to work to undo those curses, that shame, the womanizing, the gangster behavior, the thugging, the street shit, moving around the community acting like a damn nigga. Disrespect on a black woman. Vile behaviors. Violence. Drug selling. Glorification of gang life and activity. How did you misrepresent your brother? How did you misrepresent your sister? How did you give a poor demonstration of who you are as a people, as a house? Don't you fucking lie to me. And don't you lie to yourself. Tell the fucking truth. How did you misrepresent your house? You have to actively atone. And to actively atone means I understand the consequences of my behaviors and actions. I understand how my character reflects into my brother and my sister's image. I understand the importance of confession. To speak outward without hesitation against what is shameful, against what is immoral, against what is abusive, against what is oppressive or unjust. I have to amplify and lift my voice against it because the word is first. I have to take a stance and take a position, not sit on a fucking fence like a coward. I gotta take a position and I gotta stand by it and mean it. With all my heart, I have to mean it. It's not good that we should behave this way. It's not good that we should continue the trend of operating this way. It is not good that we should represent ourselves in this likeness. It's not okay. Enjoin what is good and forbid what is bad actively. It's part of my atonement. How can I expect forgiveness of the self when I'm not practicing the sincerity of demonstrating the understanding that upholds the expression of forgiveness? And maybe you love lying to yourself. Huh? It's convenient. Nobody's watching. You know you owe it, but you ain't gonna give it. You're gonna keep it in your pocket. Huh? Hide it behind your back. Get on your high horse and giddy up into the sunset. Righteous, holier than thou. It's confession time. Come on, confess. You misrepresented your brother and you misrepresented your sister. And when you saw them misrepresenting your house, you didn't say nothing. You were silent. You acted like a coward. We know that it takes courage to do the right thing. It takes boldness to do the right thing. It takes strength to do the right thing. So likewise, that's what makes that demonstration valuable and significant. That's what makes that demonstration powerful. It's because we all know within the core, deeply of the self, what it takes to be a good person, to do the right things. And you create enemies as you go. When you stand up to do the right thing, you will bring enemies out of damn near everybody around you. But are you a coward? You know, I know what the people of our household is doing that they shouldn't be doing. We know what's in our culture that shouldn't be there. We know that what's in our behavior that should not be there, that should be forbidden. We know the trends, the habits, and we refuse to speak up and out against it. Because we want to be liked. We want people to be our friend. We want to be favored. We want to be popular. We want to be desirable. The irony is you are manifesting self-betrayal and betrayal to your brother and betrayal to your sister because you refuse to side with and align with truth. I am not my brother's keeper if I can't be truthful. They all will walk away from you. They'll accuse you. They'll defame you. They'll spit on you. They will reject you. They'll leave you behind if you should side with truth. They'll get angry. They'll get mad. They won't like you anymore. The very ones who's bringing medicine to the house, the very one who's bringing healing to the house, they're not going to like you anymore. But it's still your duty. You still must perform. Oh, the infamous keeps talking about, he's always talking about race. He's so obsessed with race. He's always talking about politics, and then he's always, won't you just tell us won't you just comfort us about the transits and so we can feel better tonight? Look at you. Listen to yourself. Just listen to yourself. I got a clear conscience. That's why I can talk about it. My conscience is clear. I'm free. I can side with truth and not give a fuck who don't like me for it. Not give a damn. I've already seen too many times who people become should you be truthful. How people treat you should you be honest. How people deal with you if you should prop up a mirror. They will find ways to put it back on you, the burden of that discomfort. They will reject you. And I'm demonstrating that you still must perform regardless? Are we really spiritual? Only warriors can be spiritual. Cowards cannot be spiritual. Your portion is in this just like my portion is in this. I'm a journalist for the heavens. I'm an interpreter of the sun, moon, and stars, just like my forefathers, the Moors. And I'm doing so sincerely from the heart. I'm telling you what's being expressed, but I don't get to choose and whether or not that is a pleasant topic. It's your heart that you should search if you don't like it. I have not failed to give accuracy in what these planets are expressing. And right now it's talking about race. It's talking about legacies through race, legacies through culture, legacies through traditions, legacies with the people. Because the people have to get to unity, but the people can't get to unity without aligning with truth and transparency, without clearing the conscience. The water trine is about confession. The water trine is about forgiveness. The water trine is about salvation. I don't care what astrologers out there are running a fucking yap, telling you all the sweet shit that you want to hear. If you can't accept the truth, you will be bound and never taste freedom through the wisdom of astrology. You will be bound. The water trine is not something to underestimate and talk about your fucking feelings, your emotions, and all that you hope for out of these transits. There's work in it. And it's being clarified, but you don't like it. Confession. Confess of your house. Confess. Confess of your brother and your sister, of your house. Confess. Forgive yourself so that you can understand how to forgive them who trespassed. And then atone. Actively atone. And that is when we clear our conscience. And that is when unity manifests through compassion and understanding. That's when the trust is perfected. That's when the healing is accelerated. And that's where solutions come to us in abundance from our power of creativity and the clarity of the mind and heart. And we, as innovators, together. The option is being removed for everybody to turn their head away from what's going on in this world. We're going to relate to each other's suffering. We're going to relate to each other's predicaments. That option it's going away. Nobody can escape anymore or hide anymore in their own little world, their own little bubble. There ain't gonna be no more hiding spots sooner or later. Because we're all meant to feel. All of us are meant to feel. Imagine having an option to not want to hear nothing about race, to not wanting to hear nothing about what's turning up in society of white Christian nationalism. Imagine being so privileged to where in your own little bubble, you don't want to hear it. It makes you unhappy. It disturbs you. It makes you uncomfortable. Negative energy. My emotions can't handle it. Guess what? It's the reality of certain people in this society who have no choice but to process those burdens every single day. Every day. My own mother had to call her 3 grown-ass sons like we little kids. I hope y'all don't be out at night. I hope y'all don't be, moving around at night too much, or, be careful when you go out there, drive the speed limit, all these different things, because she's processing what's happening out here in this world, and it's scaring the shit out of her. She's a black mother. I'm a father of black sons. You gotta stop your sons and have regular talks with them to make sure they know how to conduct themselves in ways that avoids what's already set up for them. You have to teach black boys how to move in this society, because we don't get to just show up. It's special instructions to how we show up, because it's assumed that we're supposed to inconvenience ourselves to make other people comfortable. In the same breath, I could say, in my community, there are behaviors, characters that makes other people uncomfortable. And we should be accountable to that. We should come together and say, this is not the behavior we should have. This is not the way we should be operating and moving. And we got to do it together. Stop turning a blind fucking eye to shit that you're meant to see. You're not fucking special. Everybody is meant to pass through and feel what's going on right now. Feel it. All this stuff, the food stamps, losing things, unemployment, yada, yada, yada. None of this is new to people of my community. I'm going to just say that. There's nothing that can happen that we ain't already used to. Nothing. It is new to many Americans who enjoyed privileged status in society. It is new to those. What am I going to do about this? What am I going to do about that? I can't take this anymore. This ain't life. Yada, yada, yada. Yeah. I have compassion for people who feel like that, because I know all about that reality. I know all about that reality. This is a timeline where anybody who was privileged must lose the privilege in order to feel. Because we are meant to relate. You heard me say it before. The white supremacists and the African American feminists are the same fucking person. And this is a timeline where that Wizard of Oz effect, where you go into the Wizard of Oz, you look behind the green curtain and you look at that motherfucker like, God, oh, That's all. That's what we was worried about. Yeah, the truth is out in this generation, in this timeline. White superiority and black women superiority, it's dissolved. Nobody believes it anymore. Nobody's buying into that no more. Black women who subscribe to feminism and its superficial energy, and white men who subscribe to the white superiority and white Christian nationalism, there have been illusions around them and false narratives that they hide behind with the hopes that people will continue to believe it long enough for them to enjoy a little more time of false superiority of themselves. Arrogance, superficiality, narcissism, false pride, inflated ego, and fabricating false narratives to appear greater than what they are. Lies after lies. Black American feminists have been lying on black men, destroying the black family, instilling immoral trends and culture within homes and the children. Defacing the moral standards and integrity that our forefathers have established and set. They don't have a conscience. Vile. Sex objects of themselves. Objectifying themselves. Hypermasculinity, ironically, in black females. Unteachable. Unreceptive. Horrible character. Above correction. Totally disrespectful, respects no authority in the society whatsoever. Praising and worshiping themselves every day. All fucking day. Worshiping and exalting themselves. Black superiority proclaimed from their lungs, day in and day out. Incapable of pair bonding. Hyper-feminist. Shamelessness. Promiscuity to the extremes. Prostitution in full out practice. Indignation. No values, no morals in demonstration. Superficiality. Hiding who they are. Putting on costumes to feel and appear of a value and caliber that they hope somebody continues to believe of themselves. Generation after generation turning babies into weapons of mass destruction. And you can't correct them. You can't teach them. They work together to keep the image and reputation of black males on its last screw and nail. This is the day when such people, such persons, such regimes has lost its power, including the white supremacists. Who think that they found hope in Charlie Kirk's rhetoric, not realizing that any petty crime that they can name of black males, they themselves have spread such crimes in higher magnitude, altitude, and capacity, impact, depth, and weight across this entire planet, from generation to generation, century to century. Ethiopia is the only nation who they have not terrorized, pushed genocide across, disease, rape, theft, doctrine of discovery and manifest destiny, corruption, abuse, deception, false narratives, the stealing of legacies, identities, cultures, tongues, and languages, status. Look at the mountain accusing a hill. Who has murdered more people than him? Who has raped more people than him? Who has stolen more than he has? Who has abused humanity to a fraction of the measure that he has? But his focus is the petty crime to shift the attention off of what the world has come together to voice outwardly of the disapproval of his inappropriate power. So go to the easiest scapegoat, the black male, and continue to call him out like you've been doing for 400 years. But it doesn't work this time. Nobody can match his crimes. And I mean nobody. He's not in position. He's not in moral standing to point finger at anybody at any time for any crime or moral objection. He doesn't have the standing to do so, nor credibility. It's the same with the African American female who subscribes to feminism. They both are up for examination, and their illusions are exposed. It kills you to listen to it, don't it? It bothers you to listen to it. It hurts you, it disturbs you, it makes you mad, it makes you uncomfortable. The propaganda going on in our nation, it has been this way for 400 years. The insecurities and maliciousness of white Christian nationals, white males, feels a need to control and dominate narratives, to make sure that certain people look like monsters, criminals, while they clothe themselves in an air of innocence. It's nothing new in this nation. They go out of the way to make every other people except for themselves look like monsters. Statistical facts. Look it up. 57.5% of sexual abuse offenders are white males. 74.6% of child pornography production offenders are white males. They don't tell their dirt. They don't talk about what they do. The aim is for everybody to gather together to make somebody else look like a monster, to make somebody else look bad. And this is what white supremacists have in common. And it's also what Black African American feminists have in common. Narratives. Narratives of lies, exaggerations, praise of themselves, worship of themselves, exaltation of themselves, while everyone else who is not them or not like them is beneath them, is a monster.